The SES is on standby with severe weather conditions developing this evening. Sandbagging has been underway in parts of Port Stephens with strong wind, big tides and swell expected to cause problems.
Mother Nature had Victoria in her sights last night. Strong winds and heavy rain caused chaos, bringing down trees and power lines, sparking hundreds of calls for help. In the Hunter, this morning's blue sky slowly turned nasty. Those out at sea upped anchor and headed for calmer water. That comes as little surprise, considering 5 years ago this week, wild weather saw the Pasha Bulker wind up on Nobby's Beach. But that's unlikely to happen again, at least this time.
It's a completely different animal in comparison to the one that drove the Pasha Bulker ashore. This one is coming from the south and continuing quickly on its path north over the region.
Tonight, wind gusts of up to 100 kilometres an hour are expected to blast through the region, while heavy rain combined with the highest tide of the year could result in some coastal inundation.
The winds will slowly back off, but they're still going to be very, very strong, about 70, 80 kilometres an hour, and showers will continue overnight and throughout tomorrow.
Emma Murphy, NBN News.
Newcastle community workers today rallied outside MP Tim Owen's office, protesting moves by the state government to strip staff of a pay increase. They're among 30,000 workers from the public's social and disability industry who say the state government has turned its back on moves to address equal pay.
Community workers in the non-government sector deserve to be paid the same as government workers doing the same jobs.
Meanwhile, talks over Fairfax's plans to shift 41 Newcastle Herald editorial production jobs to New Zealand have been extended until Thursday. Ask any retailer how's business and they'll universally tell you times are tough. In Merewether, a hardware store open for 74 years is shutting down to make way for a supermarket, and the owner is blaming skyrocketing rent.
Tucked away on Merewether's Llewellyn Street, change is brewing at this small shopping precinct and not everyone's impressed. The hardware store, which opened in 1938, is closing down, and the manager says it's all because the rent is increasing by around 130%.
Owners buy buildings and buy property and they have their own agendas and yeah, you can be squeezed out.
The store will open for the final time on June 24. The doors closing on 7 jobs. An IGA supermarket will open in its place. The street is no stranger to controversial development. Last year, an Aldi development was knocked back across the road after the community fought against it. Now, the land acquired is up for sale.
You beat off one and another one sort of slides in. It's making it real hard for small business at the moment.
The greengrocer next door says they'll now have to fight to keep their business viable and 20 staff employed. But the property manager disagrees.
We'd actually encourage that to stay. It's a fruit and veggie market, and that would fit in very well with the local grocery needs for local community.
That will be a case of wait and see.
Hopefully the locals sort of stick by the small business.
Christy Reading, NBN News.
Safety work on a stretch of road where an 11-year-old girl almost died last year will begin this week. Taylor Cadman was struck by a car while crossing Nelson Bay Road near the Bayway Village after being dropped off by her school bus. Earlier this year, the state government allocated $250,000 to install a U-turn bay near the entrance to the village. The bus stop on the western side of the road will also be removed.
It'll alleviate the need for passengers having to get off at the bus stop on the other side of the road, so it'll make it a lot easier.
Work is expected to be completed next month.
The partial lifting of a 6-month ban on the commercial harvesting of pippies on Stockton Beach is being criticised by a prominent local fisherman. John Clark, who's on an advisory board to the Fisheries Minister, Katrina Hodgkinson, says pippy stocks along the beach have not had enough time to recover. A 2-kilometre section in the northern corner of Stockton Beach and between the Cygna Wreck and the breakwall are still excluded from pippy harvesting.
The areas that she has selected were not harvested in the first place, so we have gained absolutely nothing.
Wallaby fever is here. The historic test with Scotland is just over an hour away. And it's not just the supporters who are cheering, with the match expected to inject around $1 million into the region.
Newcastle is fast becoming a sports mecca. Tonight the Wallabies will thrash it out with the Scots at Hunter Stadium, the first time a rugby test has come to town, and the supporters couldn't be happier.
Obviously the Wallabies, it's something special for Newcastle, and I think it's great to have something like that up here.
Even this rare Scotland supporter.
My heart goes to Scotland, but my head goes with Australia.
Others just simply not aware.
I didn't even know it was on, but good luck to them anyway.
Even businesses got in on the act, proudly donning the green and gold bridal specialist Bells and Bow, winning a Best Dressed window competition.
We're all very, very avid supporters here.
Hunter Tourism predicts around 30,000 spectators will pack out the stands tonight, a lot expected to be local, but...
We've also got people coming from interstate and I believe internationally as well, staying in our accommodation places around Newcastle. We have full occupancy.
That's estimated to inject around $1 million into the region's economy.
The economic benefit for Newcastle is so important.
But depending on the weather, some might swap their tickets for the couch.
I have a ticket and I don't know if I'm going yet.
Amy Ziniak, NBN News.